Okay, fine. So yesterday we have seen this annotation attributes actually, the description, timeout, priority, depends on method, enabled, and the last one is a group. Okay. So all these attributes are being used with this @test annotation. Just here. Yeah, with this @test annotation, we can just put the bracket here and we can provide all these attributes there. Description means test case description. Timeout means in suppose particular time, if the time pass, so test case should get fail with the exception, timeout exception. Okay. And priority we have seen yesterday, then depends on method, enable, then groups. Okay. So next slide, it's a listener. So this is a special interface which is having capability to find the if the test case got failed, test case got passed, test case got skipped. And also if you want to do something before the test start and before after the test end. So this all the capabilities TestNG listeners having. Okay. So there is one more listener. I have not, it is not listed here. So that is I retry analyzer. So if you use that listener, so if our test case is failing once, so we can just retry the test case till the test case got passed or just maximum loop actually. Suppose we can give the maximum count 3. So simply it will execute thrice if it is failing. Otherwise, if it is passing in first attempt, then it will not execute for remaining 2 times. Okay. So this is a special interface. All are interface actually. It is starting with the test listener, I annotation transformer. Then again, I invoke method listener, I suit listener, I reporter. So basically, we are going to use this test listener. Okay, for the reporting purpose. Suppose if you want to take a screenshot when the test is failing, so we'll just simply put some code by implementing this test listener. Okay, and then iReporter is used for the reporting purpose. Okay, other listener you can just go through it, but we are not using that much. Okay, so yeah, that's fine. I will just show the implementation for listener as well in today's session, how to implement and how to use this listener in our framework. Okay, so TestNG also having capability to handle the exceptions as well. Suppose you know Java exceptions, right? So there might be multiple exception, array out of bound exception, arithmetic exception. So my method might expect some exception here. So in that case, what will you do? We will just use this @test and we will just put expected exception equal to the exception name. So if I'm using this code, so my test case will not get failed in this case, because it will simply ignore this arithmetic exception because of this 1/0 division. Okay, again I will show this in the Eclipse. Okay, this is exception handling in the TestNG. This is also used very rarely because all the exception mostly we are handling in the Java itself. We are not using this exception handling in the TestNG, but you should know if there is a requirement, you can just implement this kind of thing. Accepted exception and then arithmetic or any exception dot class. Yeah. So before TestNG, JUnit was there, JUnit 4. Okay, JUnit 5 is also there now. Okay, so TestNG is inspired from the JUnit only, but JUnit is mostly used by the developers because there is some limitations actually in testing perspective. So we'll just compare this TestNG versus JUnit 4. Okay, so test annotation, it's the same in the TestNG JUnit 4, @test. Then same for before class, after class, till this it's same. Only method name changes for the before method and after method. In the TestNG, it's a before method, after method, and in the JUnit, it's a @before and @after. Okay. Then if you want to make the test case disable, means if you don't want to execute the test case simply. So in the TestNG, we have tried @test and in bracket enable is equal to false. And in the JUnit, we simply write the @ignore. It might happen you need to work on some project where JUnit is used. That's why I'm just telling the difference between these two. It's a very similar, very minor functionality change there. Okay, so 7 point annotations for exception. So in TestNG we use at the test expected exception is equal to arithmetic dot class, and in same in the JUnit we are just using the expected is equal to and the exception name. We are not putting expected exception. The only keyword is change here. Not keyword, it's attribute actually. So this thing you have to remember. Then again, timeout is same in both the cases. Yeah. Now major difference is in the test engine you can see there is before suit, but in JUnit there is no kind of thing in as a before suit. It is not available there in the JUnit. Then moving to the next slide, continuation to the difference only. Then same thing, after suit is not present in the JUnit. Then before test is not present, after test is not present, before group, after group, this foundation are not present in the JUnit. Okay. So this is the difference between test ng and JUnit 4. I think someone pinged something. I'm just reading. Yes. Nagendra is asking, can you please explain again how to create test ng and annotation class? Testing and annotation class. Okay, fine. I'll just show you the practical. If that is not clear, just Nagendra, you can ask me again. Okay, fine. I'll create that, Nagendra. Okay, so fine. So this is the last one. So I will show you the practical for all the things that I have explained. First, I will go with the parallel execution using the test ng. So this is my one class, Chrome Invoke, and I am having two test cases, Chrome test 1 and test 2. Okay. So in the test 1, I'm just clicking on the dynamic ID and verifying the title of that page, web page. And in the second, I'm just clicking on the class attribute and I'm just again printing the title. Okay. So now I will just execute this class. Right click, run as test ng test. Now one browser opened, it will execute the test, it will close, and then next test case will get start. But suppose the requirement is that we have to execute this test case parallelly to reduce the time. Because if our machine is having good capacity to execute, to open the browser, multiple browsers, and then we have to execute the test case. So we can simply use the concept parallel testing by using test ng. Okay, so now how to create this test ng file? So we have to put the configuration in the testng.xml. So we can directly create by UI only, Eclipse UI. Okay, so I'm just minimizing all the things, avoid the confusion. Okay, and I will close other classes as well. Okay, so now I'm just right click on the project. The test ng option is there, and in test ng we have to use convert to test ng. Okay, I'm selecting this option now. So I'm getting this XML file here. Okay, so where is the location? The test ng file will get created at the root, means after this annotation framework, it will be at the after pom.xml. Okay, so name is a suit, you don't have to change this name. Then test name is equal to test, means this one actually, and suit name is this one. Okay, if I'm changing name here 1 2, it will just reflect here as well. Okay, so you can give any name, and for test also it's same. I'm just putting 1 2, it will get reflected here. Okay, I'm again not changing this name as well, test name. Now see, then class selection option is there. So they have two options, one is a classes, second is a packages. Okay, now it's a classes here, you can see. Now I am changing this option to the packages. You can observe now, it is just considering the package now. Okay, it will just consider the package which is available here, packages. Okay, here. Then again I'm making to the classes. Okay, so it will create two classes because only two classes present under this package. It is not considering this listener package actually. I'm just deleting this to avoid the confusion again. Okay, now I'll create a one testng file, testng, convert to testng. Now see, same configuration is there again. Okay, so now there is one label here, parallel mode. So which thing we have to execute parallelly? Okay, so options are methods can be executed parallelly, classes can execute parallelly, or tests can be executed parallelly. Test means, what is this test? So it can be the bunch of classes. This is a test. Okay, so suppose we have 5 classes.
राजू काय वाटलं का डॉक्टरला सायन्स कळतं वा हे
Please, can you please mute yourself?
काहीच म्हणू नको दुखायले का काही दुखत असलं सांगते भाई गोळ्या कशाला
गुडघा दुकानला म्हणून
Okay, fine, I muted that guy. Okay, so yeah, suppose there are I'm talking about the test. So suppose there are 5 classes, and suppose you want to make 2 classes separately and another 3 classes separately. So we can make this test, this tag. I'm just hiding the window here. Yeah. Okay, so this is a test. Okay, so I will just simply copy paste this test, and I will just provide 2 classes here and remaining 3 classes in the next test. So this can be also executed parallelly. So first we will go with the methods. Okay, so now you can see, I will just revert it again. Now you can see the difference in these 2 lines. Okay, methods, you can see this parallel is equal to method, and then parallel equal to method. These new things come here by changing this option. Okay, so now we have to define the thread count as well, means at a time how many browsers should open. Okay, so I will give the 2, and I will simply click on the next button now. Okay, it will ask for some changes, so let's do that. Select all and then finish. Okay, at the last you can see testng file got created here. I'm just opening this file. You can see thread count is 2. Parallel means you are executing methods parallelly. Suit name is suit. This test name is a test, and again we are using this parallel method at the test level as well. Okay, so it is auto generated, so you don't have to worry about this part. Okay, so I'm executing this now. So what is expectation is my annotation, this class this class I've ignored. Okay, so it will not get executed, so simply I'm deleting this from here as well, because I don't want to execute this class. I will delete this. Okay, so now after executing this testng.xml, what is expectation? The 2 browsers should get open and 2 methods should be get executed parallelly. Okay, which 2? This test1 and test2. This will work parallelly now. Okay, so I'll just execute by using the testng.xml file, run as. Now you can see testng suit. Now you can see this printed twice. Chrome browser was open, started successfully. Okay, I'm just opening this window side by side. Okay, see, the 2 test cases got executed parallelly. Okay, so now we will see for the, this is a method, we will see for the classes now. Okay, so I will simply create another class by copying this, Control C, Control V. I will just put name as okay, I will just put as a 2 only. Okay, just simply okay. Now again I will delete this testng file. I can simply modify this file as well, but at initial stage you can simply create a file from this option, from the project. So right click on it, testng, convert to testng. Then I will just deleting this annotation test. I don't need this, that's why I'm deleting. Okay, so now you can see it's a Chrome driver, Chrome Invoke and Chrome Invoke 2. There are 2 classes now. So what will I do? I will just make the parallel package as a classes. Okay, so now my these 2 classes, Chrome Invoke and Chrome Invoke 2, this will get executed parallelly. Okay, so I will make a count as a 2 again. We can give any count here, that's not an issue, and finish. Now I'll execute this testng.xml file, right click, run as testng suite. You can see same code is running in from different classes. I'm just shifting the Chrome browser side by side. Because in both the classes we have written the same code, that's why it is executing same test cases. Okay, I have just copied this. I have just created this two class by using this first class. Okay. Okay, so okay, so okay, fine. I'll just go for the last option as well. I'll just delete this testng.xml again. Not here. Right click, testng, convert to testng. Now I will just make a test as a parallel. Okay, and give that count as a 2. I will just simply click on next, click on finish. Okay, so now I will just open this testng.xml. Now you can see this is a test tag. Okay, but that is not auto configured in the testng.xml, so I'll just create another test here. Copy, just copy from here, then paste it down. I will delete this annotation test. I don't require this. Same here. Okay, so in one test I will execute only this Chrome invoke, and in second test I will just execute this Chrome invoke too. Okay, so I'm deleting this and I'm deleting this. Okay, so now in the first test only one class is there, Chrome invoke, and in second test only this Chrome invoke too. Okay, so again we have to change the test name as well. This is a test name actually. We have to change, otherwise it will give the error because it's the same line again. Okay, so this is a test name actually. So I'm just making as a test 2. Okay, and I'm just executing it now. It will simply behave like we are executing the test case parallelly, classes parallelly. Okay. Mainly test is used for the multiple classes. Actually here I'm using only one class, that's why you're not seeing any difference. Okay, so in this way you can do the parallel execution by using testng. So guys, so far any doubts? I got some things. I'm just reading that questions now. Okay. Yeah. Question from the Anurag. Can we make the test cases run into parallel in two tabs of same window instead of two different window? No, Anurag. We have to open the different browser because one browser is associated with the one driver. So we cannot make execute the test case in two tabs. We have to use the two windows, means two different browser. Okay, Anurag.
And hi everyone, good morning. And to add to that point, Yogesh or Anurag, if you want to execute test cases in two different tabs, that is not possible. That's based on your requirement. If you take an example of Amazon, it will open a new tab every time you click on something. So you have to perform certain operations. There is something called as get window handles.
Yes.
Okay, you don't need testng or parallel execution for that. So you just have to use get window handles and you can use it, which Yogesh will cover in upcoming sessions.
Yes, yes. For parallel execution, there is no connection between opening the different tab and actually, because we have to use the different window browser actually, not a tab in the parallel. Suppose in our test case only, if you are clicking on something here in the particular option, it is navigating to new tab. That can be handled in the same test cases, in the same test case actually. Okay. So one question from the Ritesh: can we create a pom.xml manually, just like a test ng dot? We can create, but you might it might result into some issue. You can see this option. This you should memorized. Okay. Instead of that, you can just create my own project by using this option actually. Right click on the project and then configure and convert to Maven project. This option you will get here. This is a Maven project, so you are not seeing the option, but you should get the option in case of Java project. Okay, so don't try to create pom.xml by your own. It will lead to the issue. Okay, fine. Okay.
I was having one doubt. Now,
Yeah.
now you created test in the XML file, correct?
Yes.
You separated the two classes into different two tests.
Yes.
Firstly, what you shown in the same test, two classes.
Yes.
But what is the main difference? Like, if we separated the test, it's parallelly executing.
Yes.
Then what was the aim for separating these both
Okay.
classes?
I am creating one more class now. Okay.
Okay.
Chrome invoke 3. Suppose I want to include class here in at least in one test. So I will just create like this. Okay. Now this will differentiate that this test and this test. So suppose I am executing this parallelly. This will execute on separate thread and this will execute on separate thread.
Okay, but it will execute parallelly, but on the separate thread only.
Yes, separate thread only. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. And one more, you have shown the annotation of exception.
Yes. Annotation of exception, right?
Yes. So can we write, instead of that arithmetic sub exception, can we give the main exception name there, like
Yep.
only the exception or the runtime exception, like this?
Yes, I'm going to show that as well. That's fine. So that's fine, Diksha. I'm just explaining. So in any questions here, guys, in this parallel execution, then I can go ahead for the exception part. Okay, fine, no problem. So Diksha, not Diksha. So we can give the any exceptions here in the test ng. So what will I do? I just create some exception here. Suppose I'm just changing the locator here. Okay, ID. So it is not visible. Not this locator is not present in the UI. Okay, so it will just throw the some no such element exception. I will put it here. Expected control space bar. Then no such element exception. Okay, you always make sure that you are taking the import from the Selenium only. Okay, there are some exception present in the Java also. Okay, so again, it's based on your requirement, which exception you are expecting. Okay, so first, what will I do? I will just comment this out. I will execute the test case. I will show you the exception, and then I will just use this exception, except this attribute. Okay, then it will be more clear for you. I'm commenting this below test case. It will not get executed. Executing this class. Now it is searching for that locator that is not present on the UI. So test case will fail. Yeah, you can see test case got failed. I'm just opening the console. You can see the total test run, passes 0, failure 1, skip 0. Okay, I'm going to the first exception now. Okay, you can see no such element exception from org openqa.selenium. Okay, so no such element. This is a invalid locator now. That's why you got the error. Now I will just implement that exception part. Okay, I will just uncomment this and I will just comment this part. Now my expectation is test case should not fail. Okay, even if we are getting the exception. Right click, run as test ng. Test case is passed. You can see total test run 1, passes 1, failure 0. Now we are not getting any error here. You can see. So that is the difference between using this accepted exception attribute and not using this attribute. Okay. So we can put any exception here. If you want to put exception class, there's a top one. So you can use this as well, java.lang. This should also work here. But actually this is not again recommended to use the parent class here. You can just give the specific, or you can just handle the exception by using try catch and that finally block or throw throws. Okay.
Sir, I have a doubt here.
Yeah, you can ask.
So see, if you change the X path, then
Mhm.
definitely machine is not identifying the text path and it is not clicking over there. So if you are using this exception, so it will what simply neglect that click or give us a test successful report.
It will
Because the
simply
aim.
neglect
Mhm.
this part.
So sir, what would happen here? My aim is not happening, right?
Yes, that's why
I
I
want.
told you we are not recommending this exception. We are just using the try catch throw throw. Suppose we are getting exception, we can simply put some try catch block and we are just printing what kind of exception we are getting there, and we are just failing the test case. That's the expected one.
Okay.
Okay. Don't use this exception at this level. It's just provided facility by the test ng, but very rare case actually I have not used it. But you can use according to your requirement if that's necessary, but it's not recommended again. Okay. It is just skipping the failure part and it is just showing test case got passed. Okay.
Okay.
So at least you should know this part. That's why I'm just showing this accepted exception. Otherwise, for now, don't use it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Fine.
Hello, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, if we put that method, all methods variable like a web driver dot manager, and put in a try block, all these things, and catch that exception, and
Yeah, you can.
exception E, and print exception E, system.out.ln.
Yeah, that you
Then we
can do.
hand that it will handle the exception.
Can you repeat your question again?
Sir, if we put all these things in a try block, after that, from starting from web, these things in a try block and catch that exception, and a handle in a catch block and print exception E.
Okay.
So it will handle the exception.
Handle means it will test case will not terminate abnormally. It will just go to the catch block, and if we are printing something or if we are performing some action in the catch block, it will just execute that part.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Means simply it will handle actually, I can say.
Sir,
So
we
I will.
can
Yeah.
we can create here like in try block we can create a function and we can put all these things in the function, and in the upper part like in the wherever we are defining the function, we can simply use catch over there.
Yes. Like this actually you can use, no problem.
Yeah.
Yes. But at the test case level, don't use this try catch again. I will just tell you the different method to handle the exception. Okay.
Okay.
You have to use the try catch, but not at this level, at the test. At test case level, you should not use this try catch at any cost.
Okay, sir.
Okay. we now simply we have just located the element by using this driver.get, this find element. Again, we will keep all the method inside some other classes, and in that classes we will use the try catch if you are not getting any element on the UI, or we have to handle the exception. Okay. Okay. So avoid, try to avoid this try catch at test case level. Okay.
So what should we use to handle the exception in this?
Handle the exception. Suppose now see, handle the exception. Actually, we are handling exception and we are just printing what is missing. Okay, so we will just create a method for this in the different classes. We will just call this find element there, and we are in the catch block. We will just simply print that element not visible, and we will just print that in the report. So when we see the report, we will get to know that this element not visible at the runtime. In this way, we can handle the exception.
Okay, sir.
Okay. So if you're not handling the exception, we will not able to see the report as well. In
Yes,
report also, we
that-
are not seeing what happened actually at the runtime.
Yes, sir. That's why we have to handle the exception.
Yep. That's the intention.
So, sir, here we use a throws method, throws keyword to
Yeah.
handle the exception here.
Yes.
Okay, sir.
Yeah.
I got it. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. But who is that, Nagendra, or who is that guy? Who was
Sir,
talking now?
Nagendra.
Okay, fine. Okay, fine. So who is this AB summer camp? Can ask a question? Can you repeat what is parallel testing? Parallel testing. You got the question? You got the answer, guy?
Oh yes. Sorry. It was me only. Actually, my friend had changed. Sorry, my sister had changed the name. I was Diksha.
Okay.
Forgot to change my name. Sorry.
Okay, no problem. Yeah. So you got these things clarified?
Yes, I
parallel
got
testing?
it. Yeah.
Okay, fine. Okay, fine. Then what is left? Listener. Yeah. Now we'll implement one listener. Okay. How to use the listener and how to implement that. So to implement the listener, we have to create one class. First, I will create a package. The listener package. I'll create one class here. I test listener and finish. Now I'm going to implement interface I test listener. So this is from the test ng. Okay. So now I'm expecting the answer why we are not getting any error here to implement the methods, because this is interface and now we have to implement the method here in this class. This is a class actually. I will just refactor this as a, I will not put the I word at the start. Refactor, rename, because I stands for the interface. Okay. So I am not getting any error here to add the unimplemented method. Can anyone tell me? I should get the error here, right? So I'll just create some another example here. Just hiding the windows. Yeah. I'm creating an interface. Now I'll just declare one method in the interface, method A. Now I am implementing this interface to the class A. Implements interface A. So now this class is giving error, class A, add unimplemented methods. So I'm implementing this here. So in this test listener, why I'm not getting any error? Can anyone tell me? Because this is also listener. You can see this I for interface. Yeah. So I will tell the different way to.
Hello.
Yeah. Tell me.
Because we are importing testing
No,
IT listener class in that.
this is a class. This
Right.
iTest listener is an interface.
Yes. Im-
No, not because of this. Actually, you can see it here in the class as well. Actually, we are not importing because it's in the same package. Okay, so don't think in that way. There is a different reason, Nagendra.
Okay.
Yeah. Now I'm going inside this test-ng listener, iTest listener. Okay. So you can see I have not defined this default keyword in my declaration of the interface. Now in the iTest listener, it's a default one. Okay. So this is a feature of the Java 8. When we are putting the keyword default in front of this method name, it will not ask for the implementation. Okay. So, but still we have to implement that method in our class. Okay. So I will just right click here on the class name, source, and then override / implement methods. And I will take all this method. Click on OK. Okay. All the method will commit this at that override. Okay. So now consider if my test case is failing and I have to perform some action. For example, I have to take a screenshot when my test case is failing. So there is one method. I will just walk through the method once. This on test start, what if you want to perform some action, we can do that. Then on test success, the second method. Then on test failure, if you want to take a screenshot, we can just write a code here in this bracket. So then on test skip, then on test failed but with success percentage, then again on test failed with timeout, then on start, on finish. This is at suit level. So okay, so I will simply write some sysout when my test case is failing. So I will just use sysout. Of course, you have to write your own code, take a screenshot here. So I'm just putting how to call this. I'm just telling this because you should know how to call this listener and how can we use in actual test case. Okay. So just I'm printing taken screenshot. When my test case is failing, this sentence should get print because I'm expecting this method should get called at that time. Okay, so I have defined the test listener here. So now I'm deleting these old classes. Okay, interface and class A. Okay, so I'm just minimizing this below part as well. Fine. So I will delete. No, I'll just continue with this Chrome invoke. Okay. So what I will do now, you can see I have this is original test case. Okay, that was passing. I'm deleting this try catch as well. Okay, fine. So now I have to use this listener at my test case. So simply I will put annotation above the class at the listener. Again, you can see it's a org.testng.annotation. And in bracket, you have to provide the name of that listener. So what is that? Test listener. Okay. So test listener. Okay. This is from the listener package. Okay. Our own package. Dot class. Okay. So now I will put some code here in the listener for the test case pass. Test case passed. Now I'm executing this code. I will comment out this is out. I don't require this now. I'm just expecting the code from the listener should get printed. Run as test ng test. Okay, I'm opening the console window. Now you can see this we have printed in the listener. So this sentence got printed. Okay, so now I'm just filling this test case. I'm just changing the locator value here, which is not present on the UI. And now I'll execute this test case again. Run as test engine. Again, it's searching for the element on the UI, but it's not getting, so it will just wait for some default timeout, and then it will just terminate the execution. Test case got paid, you can see in the background. Okay, so no such element exception we got. Now opening the console. Now you can see this sentence got printed. Taken a screenshot. Okay. So this is, we can say in short, again I'm repeating. So TestNG has ability to identify if the test case got failed, passed, skipped, or if you want to perform some action before and after of the test case execution. Okay, so basically this is used to take a screenshot. This I'll just again going into the class, TestNG class. Basically we are frequently using this method on passed, on failed, and on skipped. These three methods we are using frequently in our framework. We will take a screenshot. In some cases we can just configure our framework in such a way that on test success also we should take a screenshot, on failure also we should take a screenshot, on skip it's not actually, we don't need the screenshot. That's why we are not using this. We will simply print here the test case is skipped. We will just take this test case name. Okay, so this is a benefit of the listener. In this way we can implement the multiple listener. So you can just remember one more listener, iRetry analyzer, that is used to execute the test case till maximum time, means till test case pass. Okay, so this is the first way to invoke the listener. But if you suppose if you have written 10 classes, so if you are thinking about you should call this at for each and every class. So to avoid this, you can simply use a different way to use this listener. Simply you can extend some another class here, and you can add that class. I will just explain this again. I'll just use the extends. Suppose base class. First I will create one class, then extend, then I will just put the base class. I will create a one class here named base class. Okay, so I will return here @ listener. Again, this is inheritance concept. @ listener, and then we will pass the listener name here. Dot class, and we can simply extend this class whenever we want to use that listener. Okay, for every class we can just extend this, and we don't need to write that listener @ listener on the top of this class. Okay, this way we can do. Okay, there is one more way we can use this listener by using the testng.xml file. Okay, so you can just ignore this. You can just simply delete this from here and simply put listener in the testng.xml file. Okay, so this is suit. So inside suit you have to add one more tag here, listeners. It's a multiple, and in listeners you have to put the listener, single one. And here you have to provide the class name where you have implemented the listener. Okay, so name should be this. I will just tell you You have to copy the package name and then class name. Sorry. Yeah, in this way, you can define the listener here itself as well in the test.xml. Okay, always use shortcut Control A, Control I. It will just format your code. Okay, so in this way also we can just call the listeners. So this is a different way to call the listener. Okay, so any doubts? I'm just opening the chat window now. Yeah, Diksha asking, Diksha's concern, listener is not clear actually. Okay, fine. Listener is basically you suppose if you're, again I'm repeating same thing, if your test case is getting failed, suppose now our test case got failed due to some invalid locator here. Okay, so suppose if you want to take a screenshot, how you can take a screenshot? You cannot write a simple take a screenshot method and you cannot call it every time here, because it's again repetitive thing. You don't know where your test case might get failed. It might be at this line. It suppose you write 50 lines of code, it might get failed at third line, or it might get failed at 10 line. So you cannot write that get screenshot method and we cannot call at every single line. Instead of that, what we can do, we can use the listener. So it is having capability. If only test case got failed, it will just call that method. That's it. In this way, you can use this listener.
Does it means like taking the proof type, it is failed and all?
Can you commit again?
Does it means like taking the proof? Yeah, the test case has been failed through the particular screenshot.
It will take a screenshot. Yes. If you write some code here in this on failure method, this method. So only if the test case got failed, this method will get called. You don't have to write this get take a screenshot method everywhere.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes. And sorry to interrupt, Yogesh. Yes, Diksha, to answer your question, it means that taking a proof whenever any line of code or at any particular screen it fails. Okay. For an example, I'll take an example of Anthem's project over SPS UI, right? There are multiple flows, and if in a complex flow, the execution will fail on 6th screen. It was supposed to go till 8th screen. Okay. I'm just giving an example. If it fails, again, you don't have to do a retrospective and keep on checking every screen. यहाँ पे fail हुआ या फिर वहाँ पे fail हुआ. On 6th screen, it will display that screenshot wherein you can identify, okay, on this screen, this has failed. So you can go directly to that particular class or that line of code where you have written certain actions and you can debug that. That will save your time. That's the intention.
Okay. Okay. And where does this screenshot get saved? Like,
no,
where
actually,
we can...
yeah. Again, it's our own code actually, where we can just configure where we have to put the screenshot. I will just take that in the upcoming section again.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can mention that means in particular project folder, example, you're working in Doxa, AFG, Anthem, you can create different folders for that and create a different folder for failed test cases. And there is also a customization. It depends on how you write the code. Whenever you save a screenshot, right, you can save that with date, time, stamp.
Yes.
So you will be able to recognize it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, got it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, that's the listener implementation, and console reading is not pending. Actually, I will just go through it again for the failed test cases. Opening the console, you should know where the test case got failed exactly. Okay, so first you will get some this kind of exception, this Selenium exception. Then we are getting some descriptive values, descriptive information here. What is the X path? So we can simply go to that line number by using this tag. This is tag actually. Okay, so we have to look for our code. Okay, I'm just minimizing some. Yeah, fine. Okay, this is a native method. This is not our, this is then constructor. This is a W3C. This is not our code actually. We have to look for our code then. Okay. So now see, this is again Selenium part. This is again Selenium part. Now you can see at first package Chromium test1. This is our code. We can simply go to this line number, and you can see if you know what is the meaning of this line, driver.findElement by XPath. So you might check. You just log into the website and you just check for this XPath if it is correct or not. Or you can simply apply the fix here at this point only. And always look for the first exception that you are getting in the console, because due to this first exception, you might get subsequent exception that you can ignore simply. If this is getting fixed, so other exception also you will not get in next time. Always look for the first exception. Just remember this again. Okay, and this is the last actually. So we will get result in this format in the console. Okay, guys, that's it for this test ng. So any doubts here? So we can wrap up and we can go ahead with the assignment review. I'm just opening one chat. Yeah, assert in test ng we can do, Shubham. Yeah, that's fine. I'll just show example. That actually I'm just planning to do it in next session actually. We can simply use this assert equal assert. This method we can use it here. Assert true. We can simply pass the actual value, expected value. If it is not matching, the simple test case will get failed. There are multiple methods actually based on our requirement. I'm just showing the methods here. So you can see it's a Boolean. It's taking the byte as well, character, collection, double, float. It's depend on data type actually. Okay. Then again, there are few more methods. Assert equal. This, yeah, with different data type. If this condition is not matching expected actual, the test case will get failed. That's it. For example, if you want to check if we are getting the expected driver title, we can simply use, I'm just putting the code here, assert equal. Okay. So I will simply pass this as actual and expected. What is my expected? Dynamic ID. I will simply put it here. Okay, and I will execute the script. Then if these two are matching, then test case will get failed. Otherwise, test case will get passed. If this matching, otherwise test case will get failed. Okay. Again, we will use this in the subsequent session.
Okay, so this one is the hard asset, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Fine. I'm just, yeah. So we can start reviewing that assignment. So anyone can share the screen, and if you have any doubts in that assignment, just you can ask us.